Hi, I'm David Stark. I'm mostly an indie game developer, but today I want to give you a bit of an intro to a game called Armageddon Empires. This is a game I've been going on for years, how great it is, and haven't had much success getting people to play it, mostly because the user interface is not very intuitive, let's say it like that. So in this video I'm going to do a kind of a combination of a let's play and a how-to. I'm going to walk you through the first 24 turns or so, or showing how to actually use the user interface and how to actually play the game. This is my second attempt at doing this video. I'm still struggling with OBS, the recording software, so this time you should actually be able to see my cursor, and resolution should be a bit better as well, and hopefully my voice is understandable. Okay, so Armageddon Empires is a turn-based, hex-based, post-apocalyptic war game. And it's really fun. It's really deep. It hasn't really seen that much kind of mainstream visibility, maybe unsurprisingly, but I think it's great. I'm going to show you how to actually play it. Oh, the game's available on Cryptic Comet. I'll leave a link for that in the description of the video. There's also a demo available. It's compatible with Windows, Mac, and well, this is actually running on Linux on Wine, so that works pretty well too. Okay, so to start out, we're going to make a new game. Oh, so the other thing is it's not only turn-based and hex-based, it's also card-based. Everything you build, all the units and buildings you deploy, you put there by taking a card out of your virtual hand and putting it on the map. And that means you have to create a deck of cards to actually have a set of cards to play. And so deck building is not a part of the game. For now we're not going to go into that, so I'm just going to select here the Imperial Start deck, which is the kind of standard humans in this game. So I'm going to play as the heroic humans, and my opponents are going to be the Machine Empire, evil robots, and Xenopods, evil tentacle aliens. Okay, with that set up, I'm going to start the game. Okay. So you can see the interface now, and we're immediately confronted with the main resolution mechanic in this game, which is die rolls. So the way this works is that pretty much anytime the game needs to decide something, it rolls some dice against some other dice, and whichever side has the highest number of successes wins. Now in this case, we're rolling dice about who gets to put down their starting area and starting base first. And to do that, I'm going to hit roll die. It rolls the dice, and it re-rolls the dice if there's a tie automatically, and in the end it tells me, okay, the Empire of Man, which is me, gets to go first, then the robots, and then the evil aliens. So we're going to start out by clicking lay tiles. Lay tiles again. As you can see, there's a lot of user interface, and here we are. I'm just scrolling with the arrow keys here, by the way. And here at the bottom is our staging area, which is a hex we can place down, which is going to be where we actually start out. And the important thing about this is that it has a bunch of resources available for collecting. There are 4 resources in the game: humans, which are brown, materials, which are green, energy, which is yellow, and tech, which is blue. And the staging area provides 1 of each per turn for harvest, giving us a resource base to start from. So you can think of those as, it's kind of like mana colors in Magic or something like that, right? So we take the staging area and we click on it and we drag it to one of those green hexes. I'm going to choose this one, put it down, click on set tile, then the other players get to put down their tile. If we think this makes no sense, why all of this detailed stuff about who gets to put down stuff, it's absolutely true. It makes no sense right now because we each only have 1 tile. You can have setups where you can place down a lot more tiles, so this might actually matter, but here, frankly, whatever. So now we're placing down our stronghold, which is a base card, which will be the place where we start. And what's important about this one here right now is that it has here this line RC, and that says that it's able to collect 1 human, 1 material, 1 energy and 1 technology, which means it fits nicely into these resources which are available. So putting this on here, it will give us a basic income of 1 of each of the resources per turn, which is what we need. Okay, now hit start game. It creates the rest of the map, it sets everything up. Game's a little bit slow because it was written in like Macromedia Director, but with a modern machine it's not a major issue. Okay, here we are. So you can now see the landscape, and this is the start of the first turn. Now, the way it works with turns is that at the start of a turn, all the players roll dice against each other to determine who gets to go first. This is relevant because in some situations you may want to be able to move first compared to an enemy so you can catch them out or something. By default you have 3 dice to roll, but you can spend resources like this to get more dice, which makes it more likely you can go earlier. Right now that's not a good idea. We need our resources to actually put units down. So I'm just going to hit done, and now we're going to roll dice. Okay, now really useful user interface tip. Whenever you have something like done or roll die or start round or something, to kind of do the next thing button, you can hit F and it selects that. God knows why it's F and not enter or something, but it's F. Okay, it's rolled, and it's decided that the evil robots go first, followed by me, and then followed by the evil aliens. And apart from the turn order, this has also assigned a bunch of action points to each player. You get more action points if you go earlier. And action points are kind of the 5th resource here. They don't carry over from one turn to the next. The other resources do, so you can accumulate them, but action points are refreshed each turn, and you use those to do pretty much anything. So playing a card, moving an army, doing all kinds of actions, use action points. So let's start this round. Evil robots do something, and now it's my turn. Okay, so this here is our base. There are 2 parts to it, really. If we click on this bit here, the base icon, we can see the facilities in this space, which right now is just our palace. If we click here on this horizontal garrison icon, then we get all of the armies that are at this base. And right now there's just one default army, which is the garrison, so that's all of the units that are just installed to defend this space. Okay, so really the first thing we need to do is to do some scouting. There's all of these hexes around us, and we need to know what's out there. There may be goodies for us to collect as well, there may be enemies, and there may be like resources we can collect. And to do that, we need to have some kind of scouting unit. So down here is our hand, and we can drag things out of this hand to place them. And now conveniently actually we have this thing here, which is a light tank, a scout tank, so we want to deploy this. So you can see it has a resource cost of 1 of each of the resources and 2 action points to deploy. And to actually deploy it, we again drag it from our hand here onto the staging area. So in general, if you need to do anything with cards, you drag them from A to B. Okay, so now it's plonked in here. If we click on the garrison, it's now installed in our garrison. But we want to move it around, so you next need to create a new army. This also costs action points because of bureaucracy. Okay, then we drag this guy into here. At this point, we have an army with a tank in it, and we can now tell this army to go around the wasteland looking for interesting stuff. And how do we do this? Well, we do it by right-clicking on the armies. This took me forever to find out. I spent like an hour when I first got the game just kind of despairing because nothing seemed to do anything, because I hadn't figured out that in general, if you need an army or card or something to perform some kind of action, you right click on it and you get a contextual menu. So we're going to right click on here and we get one option, which is moving the new army, which will cost us 1 action point, and it has 3 movement points. The amount of movement cost in between hexes is also a bit of a weird thing. You see the cost by looking at the color of the lines in between the hexes of the edges. So these light colored edges here have very low movement cost, whereas like these dark colored edges here have a very high movement cost because, well, it's a mountain, right? So we're gonna right click on here, click on here, and then this lets us see where we can move our unit. So for now we're just going to do a bit of a slow circle around our base, examining our immediate surroundings. Oh, and right at the start, yes, thank you, whatever. Right at the start we get a supply cache, some kind of goodie hut. So we want to claim this, obviously. And it contains a whole bunch of resources actually, which is going to be really useful for building stuff faster. Okay, nice. Definitely a good outcome for the first turn. And that's all we can really do. We only have 2 action points left, which isn't really enough to do anything. So we're just going to end this turn. Now the evil aliens get their turn, and now it's time for the second turn. And again, I'm not going to spend any of these resources because right now my constraint really is resources, it's not really action points. Second turn. So I'm just hitting F here for the start turn and so on. Let's keep on exploring the wasteland. Oh, a nomad caravan. Even nicer. Lots of people to indoctrinate into my army. Okay, so what have we got now? We can look at our hand by clicking on this button, and we can probably place some more stuff. So apart from units like this tank here, we also have bases like this one, which we can put down anywhere to extend our supply range. So supply range is another important concept here. If you click on this button, you can see that part of the map is in green, and that part is the extent of the supply range you currently have. Units which move outside of that supply range are at a huge disadvantage. They move much more slowly and they have reduced combat strength. So sometimes you have to move out of the supply range, but it's pretty bad. So in practice you end up placing bases or conquering bases to extend your supply. So this Imperial Fire base is basically a small base that lets us extend our supply range, which we don't read right now, but that's useful. And the other kind of thing which is here right now is heroes. So these are special units that basically enhance the abilities of others, of your troops, or give you other bonuses. So for example, this one is an administrator, and she reduces the cost to draw cards, which is very nice, and she also improves some other die rolls for making technology and mutations and stuff. And then there's this guy, he's absolutely brilliant because he has the charismatic one ability. He actually generates 1 human resource per turn, and he also gives a solid +1 bonus to all units under his command. So he's really good, and it's great that we have him so early. So I'm going to drag him here onto the staging area as well. Now he's in the garrison, commanding the empty garrison. Obviously at some point pretty soon we are going to want to have some basic units in the staging area to defend it against attack, because right now if like a small scout like this one from the enemy were to go into our base, we would just be wiped out. Okay, we have enough action points to also draw a card, so let's do that. Okay, so this one, for example, is a facility, so it's a secondary building you put into a base, And this one lets you create what's called tactics cards, which are secondary cards, which are in a separate part of your hand here, and they allow you to basically improve your die rolls, which can be very handy. But for now, what we really want is we just want to find cool stuff, and we want to build up some basic military force. So let's end our turn. Okay, let's keep on exploring. Nothing new. So I'll probably want to... Well, really what I want to build is this guy here. Still have to wait 2 turns to get enough tech, but this is a huge mecha, and it's pretty much an army in and of itself. So that's a really good card to have some decent firepower. And we have all of those resources, all of these green resources that we can use to buy it. So that's pretty good. So we're just going to spend 3 action points to draw a card. It's actually not a giant mech. Cool. End the turn. So right now we're saving up tech resources to be able to afford this Mibu 2 Vengeance, and we're also exploring. Okay, so this place here is some kind of city. It almost certainly has some kind of enemy in it, but it also almost certainly has some resources we could collect. So I'm going to there, go in there with my tank and hope I can run away from the enemy again before I get destroyed. But that will let you see how combat works. Okay, click on it, move in, and indeed there's some independent army with 2 units in it, and we might as well attack them now, because if we delay they're just going to attack us and then they get the first shot. Let's attack. Okay, they're rad zombies. That stands for radiation, not radical. Okay, this is the combat. So it's turn-based, and the idea is that you have all of the cards in your army in these 2 ranks. So this is your front rank and your back rank, the enemy's front and back rank. And in the back rank you would usually put in reinforcements or artillery and stuff like that, units which are weaker and hence don't want to be right at the front. Right now we have exactly 1 unit, which is our light tank, and we're going to have to do at least 1 round of combat before we can actually run away. So let's see what awaits us on the other end. Oh, if there were more than 1 unit, we could be dragging around our units at this point to arrange them for battle, but, well, there's not much point. Okay. So we get initiative, which is nice. We get to shoot first. Let's start the first round. Okay. So here on the right we can see the order in which each player gets turns. On each turn you can choose 1 of your units and tell it to do something, usually attack. So my tank's going to go first, and then the rad zombies get 1 attack each. Yeah. Okay, well, let's see, maybe we can shoot them. Probably not, but let's try. Again, to do anything on the card you need to right click on it. So I right click on the leopard tank and I get combat attack as my 1 option, and I try to shoot this first rat zombie. Roll dice. Yeah, that was a complete failure. They got more defense dice than I got attack dice by far. So yeah, miss. That's their turn. The rat zombies swarm my tank. Okay, that just barely missed. Ooh. And that was a hit by 1, so my tank takes 1 damage, which is okay. Now it's time to run away. There's a final asymmetrical retreat attack where they get the last shot as I kind of drive away, but unless I get really unlucky, which I don't. Yeah. Okay, so I was defeated, but that's okay. Wasn't really there to fight, I just wanted to see what's there. And now we can see there's 2 resources which we could collect if we could conquer this place. So that's going to be our immediate goal, conquest of this destroyed city. And to do that, we're going to put down this giant mech, and we need to put that mech into an army, which we're going to create right now. And we're going to assign this guy into the army as its commander. Okay. Now, to be actually able to build the giant mech, we do need to have 11 action points, which means we need to go first next turn. So let's end this turn. Now we're actually going to spend 2 resources to get more dice, so hopefully we'll get 12 action points and actually be able to build the mech. And we do. So we go first, and we have 12 action points, which is enough to build this guy. We drag him onto the staging area, go into the staging area, then assign him to this army. So now we basically have this guy riding this giant mech, and that should be more than enough to blow up some rad zombies. Got 1 action point left, so we might as well use that to move around our scouts some more. So this rock desert contains another tech resource we can harvest. Nice. Okay. So next turn we're going to attack the destroyed city and conquer it for our own users. This time I don't need that many action points. But I got first. Anyway, okay. Right click on here, select the giant mech army, move it over into the destroyed city. Attack. Okay. So I get to go first. Now this guy actually has a multi-target ability where I can choose multiple targets to shoot, and it also has a critical damage ability, which means that all damage is doubled. So it's quite likely that I can just kill both zombies in one go. Let's try that. Right click, select combat attack. Okay. I actually have to do multi-targeting because it has 11 attack and you can only use 10 attack at most. So I'm going to split it sort of equally. And hit attack. Okay, well, it didn't quite kill him, but it's okay. Let's shoot the other guy as well. Yeah. Okay, so that guy got blown up. Now the zombies get to claw ineffectually at the chassis of my giant stompy robot. And it's time for round 2. Thankfully the rat zombies are too stupid to actually run away, so I don't even have to chase them down. Combat attack again. So this guy's only got 2 hit points left now. And I'm going to attack with the full force of all of my cannons, which means he's so dead. Yeah. Okay, we have destroyed the rat zombies, freeing this destroyed city for our use. Okay, so what do we want to do with it? Well, we want to collect the resources. And this is another thing which took me forever to figure out. How do you actually collect additional resources? Well, it turns out that the way you do it is you need to have a hero on the hex where the resources are, and then you go to the hero and you right click on the hero, and that gives you some options for putting down resource collectors. So let's make a tech team for collecting technological resources and a materials one as well. So we're now going to get quite a lot of extra income next turn, which is nice. So now we're kind of on the way of having a good resource base. We've got our first giant death robot. Pretty soon we should be able to build a second giant death robot. And our scout is going to keep on roving around and looking for the real enemies, like the evil robots and evil aliens, rather than those little zombies. and hopefully we can find them and shoot them before they shoot us. Okay, so this is a really short intro to the game. I hope it was understandable. The basics you have to remember are you drag cards. If you want to do actions on cards, you right click on them. Those are like the basics. Then you can move stuff around, and there's resource management, and there's a lot of extra stuff in here which I haven't even touched on. Creation of tactics cards. You can create upgrades for your units. You can create weapons of mass destruction. You can mutate your units, and so on and so on. So there's a lot of stuff which far extends the scope of this. So yeah, try it out. The demo's available, as I said. It's got a steep learning curve, but it's a really fun, pure war game in a sense. You're just fighting against the enemy to survive. The AI is pretty decent. I urgently have to reinforce the staging area again because I have totally lost before from the AI just walking into my base and blowing it up because I didn't protect it well enough. I've totally won by doing the exact same thing. So this is very much a game about maneuver and scouting and information, and not just about building a huge stack of powerful units and slowly stomping towards the enemy. Okay, thank you for watching this. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if there's any specific things which you'd like me to go over in detail. Also, let me know if you have any feedback about the quality of this video. As I said, I'm really just figuring out this whole recording video and talking over it thing, so any feedback on the quality would be highly appreciated. And yeah,